restoring men in history, and we got a request from Jeff. So we like to do some of your requests. So we're going to do 5 great action films for men. And these are some of my favorites. I hope you like them. I hope you watch them. And number 1, we're going to start with Heat. Now, why are we going to start with Heat? Number 1, it's one of my favorite films. But number 2, Val Kilmer passed away, and he was a sensational actor, magnificent. I always enjoyed Val Kilmer. He brought a depth to each role and was so good. In fact, we could do a whole video on Val Kilmer. But we're going to start with the movie Heat. Now, not only does it have Val Kilmer, it has Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Jon Voight, Tom Sizemore, Ashley Judd. It's got a full cast. But let's talk about why I loved the film. I love the film because it's men who are the best at what they do. And we like to see men who are the best at what we do, right? Because we want to become that. We want to master things, and we want to be great and excellent, as Aristotle said. We want to reach excellence in things, men. And Neil McCauley, played by Robert De Niro, and Vincent Hanna, the leader. Neil McCauley is the leader of the criminals. Vincent Hanna is the leader of the detectives. And we see this great competition going on, who will win between the two groups. And Neil McCauley, we'll start with his character, I guess. But first, you've got 2 professional groups, top of their game, and the detectives are going after these guys. So that's exciting to begin with, to see 2 really top of their notch leaders going after each other, right? That's exciting. And 2 master actors as well. And these are master leaders, these 2 guys. Neil McCauley, top-notch criminal, knows what he's doing, efficient, effective. That's Robert De Niro. And I like the loyalty and the camaraderie. And men need also camaraderie. So I love the camaraderie among his inner circle, his crew that's been with him for a long time, Tom Sizemore and Val Kilmer and that other guy. So there's a great camaraderie with Robert De Niro. And what does he do as a leader? He's a great leader, and I'll tell you why. The reason I like Robert De Niro in this film, and the reason he's a very likable character, is he's concerned and worried about his men. And that's a great leader. He tells Tom Sizemore, hey man, maybe you don't want to do this. You got enough money. You don't need to take the risk. It's a great leader looking out for his men. He also never leaves Chris behind, always is looking out for Chris with his wife, played by Ashley Judd. And by the way, that's another great dynamic. Michael Mann is the director. Before we go off here, Chris and Robert De Niro have a special extra relationship, a friendship, a true friendship, where they will come through for each other, where they look out for each other. And Robert De Niro, as the leader, looks out for his men. Number 2, Val Kilmer has a relationship with his wife, Ashley Judd. And as he says in the film, sun rises and sets with her for me. So he's got a passionate, chemistry-full, dynamic relationship with Ashley Judd. Even though they fight a lot, you can tell he truly loves her, and she's the love of his life. So that's a good point in the movie, because Michael Mann is the director of this film, and he gets style. He has a great DP on this film, great lighting, great wardrobe for Vincent Hanna. We'll get to him in a minute, but great wardrobe. But Michael Mann does a great job in men and women's relationships and how men and women deal with each other. He gets men, and that they're purpose-driven. And what I like also about this film is Vincent Hanna, the detective, and Robert De Niro, the criminal. They're both purpose-driven men. They have a mission, and they're on it. And men need a purpose. We always talk about that. So men need a purpose. So you've got men that have a purpose in this film, men that are at the top notch of their game. Vincent Hanna, played by Al Pacino, is an ex-Marine, very efficient. He's a leader of the detectives. And you see a lot about him through his wife, Justine. We'll pull up a quote here in a second. How she defines him, but what is Al Pacino? He's basically, all he is who he's going after, baby. That's what he says in the film. I'm who I'm going after. He's a driven, committed guy. What is his life purpose? Putting bad guys away. That's his mission. And he's driven at that, and he's committed to that, and that's his whole life, Justine says. And I'll try to find the quote she says, which kind of sums up his character. His third wife sums him up pretty well, Vincent Hanna. You don't live with me. You live among the remains of dead people. You sift through the detritus. You read the terrain. You search for signs of passing, for the scent of your prey, and then you hunt them down. That's the only thing you're committed to. The rest is the mess you leave as you pass through. Now, she knows his level of commitment, and he's been upfront with her, because he says in the other part of the movie, you knew you'd have to share me, baby, when you hooked up with me. So he's been upfront with her, but that's the dynamic of male-female male-female relationships of many driven men, right? She wants more. He's focused on his work and dedicated and committed. And he says this other line, I say what I mean and I do what I say. And we have a saying in RMH, do what you say. So I like that particular line in the movie, but he does do that. He stays on mission, on purpose. And that's Michael Mann. He's really good at writing these male-female relationships and relationships among men, because there's a lot of brotherhood camaraderie here. But let me go to the action, the great action film, right? Chris, played by Val Kilmer, is so cool, and he brings a lot of depth, and he just passed away, so I just want to make sure we hit him. Phenomenal actor through time, so many great films. But Chris, at one point in the film, they're making this exchange, and it's all, you see the professionalism of all the characters, and it seems like they're all ex-military. A lot of great action scenes in this film. And ex-military, it seems like he's up on a roof with a sniper rifle, and it's just a cool shot, and Val Kilmer's cool the whole way through the film. In fact, Ashley Judd said she was a little nervous working with Val Kilmer because he was so cool, right? And he always brings such subtle movements with his face, and you'll see that at the end of the film as well. And the relationship he has with Ashley Judd and the relationship he has with Neil McCauley, played by Robert De Niro, is great. Just the whole camaraderie. They're out to dinner one night, the criminals, and you see the camaraderie, and men need that. Now, the bank scene is one of the most fantastic scenes in film history, I think. In fact, when they're going down the street, so they've got this big bank robbery scene, and the detectives find out about it, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's an incredible scene you should watch. They move down a street with precision, and what you can watch for is the military actually used it, as far as my understanding of articles I've read. I read a few articles on it. They said they watched them, how they moved down the street, how they covered each other, and also how Chris, particularly Val Kilmer, changed the magazines. So that's something to look at. And I think it's just an incredible scene. You've probably heard about it, seen about it. So you're kind of watching masters of the craft. There's a scene in the middle of the movie where Robert De Niro and Al Pacino face each other, the two characters. And that's a very climatic, interesting scene. And then at the end of the film, you'll see the clash between them as well, and a great shootout, another great shootout. So there's plenty of shootouts in this film for guys, plenty of drama, plenty of insight. And I think we like to see guys who are the best at what they do going after each other. Makes it very interesting and dynamic. That's number one, Heat. So the next great film, really unpredictable film, so fantastic you may not have seen it, so I wanted to pull a few things you might not have seen. Live and Die in L.A. And it starts out with this incredible music by Wang Chung, which is fantastic and grips you right away. And in the film, I'll just give it away, there's one of the most incredible car chases for guys to watch on film, I think. It's unpredictable and it's exciting. I don't want to spoil the car chase. It's one of the best. You should watch it. But the storytelling is wonderful, and it starts with, it was written by a book, and I've read a few of his books, Gerald Petovich. He was a Secret Service agent. So in this film, you get what it feels like to be a counterfeiter. William Dafoe plays the villain. William Peterson, that great actor William Peterson, plays Chance, the lead cop, and you're introduced to him, and he makes it an interesting and dynamic character. And why does he make it interesting? Well, he's an adrenaline junkie, this character. And at the beginning, you see him about to jump off something. I don't want to spoil it, but it's an interesting moment of just how he takes risk and how he's an adrenaline junkie. And you'll see that again in the car chase. But William Peterson's great in this. William Dafoe's the villain, and he actually learned how to counterfeit for this film. That's how dedicated. And when I first saw the film, I remember thinking, that guy seems like he really knows how to counterfeit. And sure enough, when I looked it up, he learned how to counterfeit. So you had Gerald Petovich. You had also the director William Friedkin, who's made some very good films, directing it, and he created some great action scenes for you guys, some good shootouts, that car chase, as well as some other things. William Peterson, of course, is a Secret Service agent. We haven't been behind those lines much in the counterfeiting the division. You usually see them protecting people. According to Wiki, the actor was drawn to the character of Chance as someone who had a badge and a gun, and how it not only made him above the law, but also above life and death in his head. And that fits the character. That's a quote on the William Peterson character. Chance was the character. This character and the making of the film, amazing and intoxicating experience for me, William Peterson said, because of that. So it is quite a unique character that I think you'll enjoy. So number 3 is The Bourne Identity. We're talking about The Bourne Identity today, but all the Bourne films are great. He created an iconic character, and it was based on a Robert Ludlum novel. But the writer, the second writer brought on, Tony Gilroy, changed it a lot and said it had to be updated. So Tony Gilroy did a fantastic job because they created an iconic character. In fact, When I was doing the reading, it said that John Wick and James Casino Royale and other films were based and came out from this film, of this fast action and this kind of fist fighting styles. And the fist fights and the way Jason Bourne takes them out, I mean, he's the guy you want to be, right? And that James Bond adapted to him in Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, and we'll come back and maybe do Casino Royale as well, because that's a phenomenal film, but that's not for today. But Matt Damon plays this. It was offered to, by the way, this role of Matt Damon was offered to Russell Crowe, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sly Stallone, which is interesting, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise. All those people turned it down, so Matt Damon got it. So interesting the way it developed. Doug Liman's the director. He did a phenomenal job, great directing on this. And he created a whole franchise. I mean, all these films are so good, the Jason Bourne, because he's the guy you want to be, right? And he's a master. So Jason Bourne is a master. He's a master of weapons. He's a master of thinking. What makes him a great character? Well, he's a great thinker. He's a great planner. But he can also adapt rapidly. And it's exciting to watch a character who uses his mind as well as can use his fist, right? So those are some of the good things about the Bourne identity. He meets a girl in the film, and also what makes this film interesting is he's dealing with a crisis of his life, right? He's got amnesia, can't remember who he is, what he's here for. So it's almost like this, if many men out there are trying to find your life or find yourself or find your purpose, he's trying to find his purpose in life. And this girl, Marie, helps him find a purpose and a meaning. And what do we always talk about? Guys need a meaning and purpose. So that's interesting about this film. You know, what are the morals? What is moral ambiguity? The CIA is involved, of course. They're the bad guys, which is believable. And Matt Damon plays the agent they're after. There's a tagline I think I've got written down here. But basically, the CIA is coming after him. He's very effective at maneuvering. He's just a smart guy, highly intelligent, can adapt rapidly. John Powell's soundtrack, amazing soundtrack. Julia Stiles does a great acting job in her. She's in it as Nikki. And it talks a lot about what is meaningful, what's he doing, why you're here on Earth. Is he a good guy, is he a bad guy? He's struggling with this through the film. And there's this great tagline in the film. He was the perfect weapon until he became the target. So right away we knew he was going to be this highly trained master. Number 4, Spartan. I wanted to bring in another film that I truly love that also stars Val Kilmer. But it's a great film. I didn't just pull it because it's Val Kilmer. Not only, and you look at Val Kilmer, he's subtle and he's so powerful in each movie. Great opening. Starts with him as a character named Scott, as a special ops guy. Great Val Kilmer. He's handling soldiers and doing an exercise with soldiers in the film. He gets called away. Why does he get called away? Because he's one of the best and he's a master. President's daughter's been kidnapped. So they bring Scott in to find her. What happened to the Secret Service protection? Why'd she get caught? We'll find out. Ed O'Neill, director of the Secret Service, talked to Scott and he says this: what about if we had to go off the meter? I need a man who can unquestionably follow orders. Scott, the door's closed, sir. Birch, I need to ask you something. Scott, I am here to get the girl back, sir. And there is nothing I will not do to get the girl back. That's Val Kilmer. So right away, you know, he's the man to get the job done, and he will do whatever it takes to get it done. Man with a mission and purpose. David Mamet wrote it, and he directed it, and he's a master. You get great story with great dialogue. And what makes a great film? I think it starts with the story, and all these films have a great story. The stories really mean a lot, and they all have great characters. And the characters in the film, Mamet's good with dialogue because he doesn't over-explain it, because a lot of these people are in the Secret Service or the military, so he doesn't take time out to teach us all. They can still use the shorthand, which is good. Another great line, ain't nobody here but two people in green. Scott, it goes beyond that. Nothing goes beyond that, says Jackie Black, the character. So that's great lines about green to green. So Val Kilmer does another fantastic job in this action film. Number 5, Taken. This is a fantastic film. Liam Neeson. It was written by Luc Besson, the great writer-director, and then Pierre Morel directed, and he does a fantastic, lots of great shootouts, lots of great fight scenes, lots of fantastic action for you guys. Tagline was, they took his daughter, he will take their lives. And what do you get in this film? Brian Mills, played by Liam Neeson, is ex-CIA at the beginning of the film. We see his particular set of skills. Able to defeat a guy with a knife at the beginning of the thing, it sets it up that he's a master who was protecting the singer. Now, Brian Mills is the best at what he does, a master. And also, what sometimes can make a great film is a great villain. And these guys are great villains. They're a massive great villains because they are really wicked. They're taking young girls and sex trafficking them. So that, and they have no regrets, no remorse. So that makes for
great villains that you want to see get their due in the film. You're cheering for Bryan Mills to get these guys who take young girls and sex traffic them. I mean, these are bad guys, right? Nobody wants that. So it's easy to cheer for them. A lot of good actions. And here's the famous line he says, "I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you, and I will kill you." So some great lines in this film. They've made memes in that. That's a famous one. So right there, you know he's the guy. He's going to get it. And his ex-wife brings him in to do it. And he had warned his daughter not to go there. He was worried about it. So he's a clever man. He's intelligent. So it's a guy about who loves his daughter and goes and gets her and who's a master. That's a great film. So in these films, you've got a lot of camaraderie, you got a lot of brotherhood, you got a lot of action. Some of them, you got masters in some of them, and a lot of great films for you guys. I hope you enjoy them. Thanks.